Hello, everyone. Welcome to my series where I will be reviewing every single American Girl doll movie made thus far. The first one coming out in 2004, um, and the most recent one coming out in 2023, I believe. So, we'll be starting with Samantha, an American Girl holiday. Yeah, this was a direct to TV Christmas movie that bizarrely tackled a lot of themes like child labor laws or lack thereof in the early 1900s, uh, cultural relations between and class relations between Irish Catholics and Anglo American Protestants in the Northeast, and the treatment of children in orphanages, just bizarre things for a children's Christmas movie, especially made by like Mattel. Um, but I think that's kind of what makes the American Girl doll movie series so great is that they weirdly are not afraid to go there. They are not afraid to talk about actual issues in the context of a children's film. And in my personal opinion, I think that this movie, Samantha, was actually pretty good. I can't say that I necessarily enjoyed watching it because again, it is a like children's direct to TV Christmas movie that is really an ad for a toy doll. That's also the movie is as old as I am, but it wasn't the worst. It's certainly not the worst in the series. The bulk of the story revolves around the friendship between Samantha and this other girl named Nellie. And Nellie is the oldest of three kids. Um, it goes Nellie, Bridget, and then Jenny. And their father is the servant of Samantha's neighbor. That's how they get to know each other. And the audience learns that Nellie's mother has passed away at some point. The three daughters also grew up in working at a factory in New York City, and their father didn't want that for them anymore, didn't want that life for them, and so he brought them up to upstate New York so they could be servants and maids rather than factory workers. This is also when the audience learns that Samantha's parents are dead, both of them, not just her mother, like in the case with Nellie. And weirdly, Samantha describes her parents' death as happening in a river accident. I don't know what that means. They don't elaborate on it. Weird way to describe it, but 1900s or whatever. The two girls bond over the loss of, in Nellie's case, her mother, and in Samantha's case, both her parents. And there's actually a shockingly large amount of ethos in the writing, which I was not expecting for what it is. And it was a pleasant surprise. There's a, I mean, the acting is what it's going to be, child actors, direct to TV movie and all, but for that, it's pretty good. And I got kind of emotional, honestly, during a couple of the scenes where the two little kids are like talking about the loss of their parents, and it was effective. In addition to the O'Malley, that's the last name, the O'Malley sisters and their father, there's also Samantha's immediate family. Since she is an orphan, she's being raised by her grandmother, who's referred to as Grandmary, and also her uncle, named Uncle Guard, short for Gardner. Gardner, or Uncle Guard, shows up at some point looking absolutely insane. I didn't know people actually used to dress like that or behave that way, but he shows up with his new girlfriend. Grandmary and Samantha have a couple funny interactions. They're not a big fan at first um, of the new girlfriend Cornelia that goes on to become Aunt Cornelia. But yeah, I like Cornelia. I like Uncle Guard a lot. They both, I'm pretty sure, I don't think this was intentional, but to me they both read gay. I'm getting a real sense of lavender marriage here, uh, and I'm here for it. I think it works, and I will get into it later, but I think it actually serves the plot also if they are in a lavender marriage. The grandmother is insane. She's a crazy person. She insists that her family refers to as Grandmary. She's been having this lurid affair with this man called the Admiral. That's all they call him, the Admiral. For 12 years, Uncle Guard says that the Admiral has proposed to her every single year for 12 years. I don't know what that means. He can't take a hint. Seems like a cool guy. The real plot of the movie took a actually really long time to develop, and then it kind of wrapped up within the span of 20 minutes. To make a long story short, Samantha has to move to the city with her uncle and aunt, where uh, she goes to a new school. She undertakes this project where the school has every student write these essays, which then top 12 get selected to be read at their like Christmas pageant. And they're supposed to be at like current topics. And so someone wants to do about the telephone, someone wants to do theirs about factories and industrialization. And Samantha is slowly starting to realize she wants to do it about child labor and the treatment of children, children's rights. And this is inspired because when she has to move to New York, she stays in touch with Nellie, who has to stay at home because Nellie isn't their servant, but she's the servant of the neighbors. And they stay in touch via letters, and they become essentially just pen pals. One day the letters stop until they get one revealing that unfortunately Nellie's father has passed away, and Nellie and Jenny and Bridget have been put in a orphanage. An orphanage, by the way, that they called Cold Rock. Sounds like a very charming, welcoming place. So they are put into an orphanage called Cold Rock in New York. And naturally, I mean, they're in the same city. Samantha and Guard and Aunt Cornelia, they want to go visit. Unfortunately, there's this whole thing, this whole like B plot with a corrupt overseer of the orphanage. Um, Aunt Cornelia has to use contacts with this rich, like ethnically Dutch woman that I'm pretty sure is her lover, um, um, to essentially steal the three children. Um, then weirdly, the three Irish children end up living in Samantha's attic for like 2 months with no one noticing. And then she has to come clean to her aunt and uncle that she's been harboring these fugitive children in their attic somehow with no one noticing. Um, they're like weirded out more than anything. And I think that's something that I appreciated about the movie is that people reacted to these weird things like they should. Like they weren't just like, oh, of course, those children that were lost have been living in our house without us knowing for 2 entire months. They're weirded out by it appropriately. To go back a second, Samantha only actually tells her aunt and uncle that the kids are in the attic after Bridget, the middle sister, gets like influenza or something and is dying upstairs, and the mute little sister is the only one there because the older one, for some reason, had to go to work. Um, it's not really made clear why she thought she had to go find a job at the age of 7 when all her food and like needs were being taken care of by her unwitting rich benefactors. But anyway, that sets up the main point of the movie because she has to go find Nellie, who's off at factory working, and this is where Samantha and the audience witness the horrors of child labor, of unregulated industrial uh, like labor. It's horrendous, and she sees that these children are not being taken care of. They're not being educated. They're not being paid with pretty much anything. They're being treated like expendable animals. And she sees, and this scene stuck with me ever since I saw it for the first time in like 2010. A kid gets his fingers stuck in a sewing machine and his fingers get all ripped up. And yeah, that really messed me up. But anyway, I digress. She gets Nellie out of there, and something weird also that happened in that scene was when Nellie is about to leave, the like floor manager, who's this like gruff, like rude fella, he says to her, "Oh, if you're leaving now, you're no more spot. You lose your spot. You can't come back if you leave if you go out that door." It's like, why would she want to stay? Like oh no, so enticing. But anyway, they get back. They're like, yeah, Bridget is dying right now. Like this is bad. So they have to talk to the aunt and uncle. Weirdly, they kind of just bookmark that plot point and then cut right to the Christmas pageant where all the girls from the school are reading their essays. By the way, the O'Malley sisters were not invited to this. I found that odd. But anyway, it was just the like real family. Oh, and Grand Mary and the Admiral showed up to support her. They brought the Admiral to the Christmas celebration. And uh, the first couple girls go and do their speeches, and they're like, I think the telephone is great because you can hear other people. I think factories are great because they make stuff. And then Samantha goes up and she's like, has anyone noticed that kids are like losing limbs in factories and not getting paid? That's weird. And everyone is like, oh my God, like, what? This is insane. This radical firebrand. And when she's done with her speech, Grand Mary, the Admiral, um, Aunt What's Her Face, and Uncle Guard. They all stand up, give her a standing ovation. A couple other people do. They're really proud of her. It's like a sweet moment. It was cute. And then when they're driving home, then there's another funny moment where uh, essentially she's like, I have so many ideas. I have so many ideas. I think that women should be allowed to vote and people should be able to say what they want. And the uncle goes, "Whoa, whoa, don't get ahead of yourself now." I thought that was pretty funny. And when they get home, they have their like Christmas Eve, and Bridget has made a miraculous recovery. The three O'Malley sisters are there. They include them in the family celebration. It's very sweet. It's very nice. And the next morning, when they come down for Christmas, Uncle Guard and Cornelia reveal their present to the four of them. They're adopting all four of them. It's very sweet. I remember the ending from when I was a kid. It was cute. It was actually a lot like cuter watching it now than when I was a kid. I remember being profoundly bored by the end of this when I was a kid, and I actually was like sucked back in. I was lost through the entire middle of the movie and then sucked back in at the end. Overall, it's not the greatest movie ever made. It's not the greatest children's movie ever made, but it's also genuinely not bad, and it still holds up 20 years later, and it has some pretty good messaging, and it delivers it in a pretty effective and appropriate way for a child to receive it about like these issues, like what life was like back then, how like messed up it was, how unfair it was, how dangerous it was, and also gave us glimpses on how it changed through the suffragette movement and labor reform, stuff like that. And I was not expecting that upon choosing to do this series. And yeah, so this has been my review of Samantha, an American Girl holiday. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Next time I will be reviewing Felicity, of course, an American Girl adventure. This one is the Revolutionary War movie with her loyalist grandfather. This was my favorite from when I was a kid. Yeah. All right. Thank you all.